Hey guys! So today is the big day for those of you who are abroad. For my international subs, I will let you know that today is election day in the US for the presidential election. It's gonna be a pretty interesting day and evening as well. I just wanted to get my thoughts out about it and hear what your thoughts are as well. So I hope that everybody got out there and had a chance to vote. I voted a week ago. If you didn't get a chance to watch my early voting vlog, please go check that out. But yeah, this is an interesting time in our country. I don't know what's gonna happen, you guys. I don't know who's gonna win. I have my thoughts about who I think may end up winning, but I just wanna chat about this for a bit. I think that, regardless of what happens in this election, I think there's just gonna be divisiveness like in this country, like for a bit. I don't think at this point, let me fix my mic here. At this point, it matters as much as we think it does, because I think just in general, this country has just been split. I feel like we're not coming together as a country. And that's why I feel like, regardless of who wins, I don't think that it's really going to change things in this country right away. I think we're going to have to come to a place of healing and understanding as a country on both sides. I don't really know. I don't know what's going to happen. Now, the polls are saying one thing. I have seen several polls throughout this whole process. And I do want to remind everybody that just because a poll says that either Biden or Trump is, winning in that state, we don't really know. We don't know what is really going to happen. I don't know about you guys, but no one has ever polled me. I've never received a phone call to ask me who I was going to vote for. And that's something I think we all need to take into consideration, because what about all those people that aren't polled? Are those people voting? Because I voted and I'm never polled. So that's just something to take into consideration. Now, I do know the polls heavily favor households that have landlines. And the thing about that is, most people in my age group, we do not have a landline. We live and rely on our cell phones. So we're often left out of those polls. So that's something to think about and take into consideration. I straightened my hair for this today, you guys. I don't know why. I'm not running for president. But I don't know. Like, I think this is probably one of the most important presidential elections of my lifetime. I will say, though, that I think, we're not going to have all of the results today or tonight. So I'm not staying up. I'm going to bed, which I think we should do. Waiting up all night to find out all the results, we're not going to get them. Some states have already said that they're not going to have all the results until like a day from now, because they still have to count all of the mail-in ballots. So I just don't want people to be like obsessed with what comes out today. And I think that this is very, very important. There are a lot of mail-in ballots. So regardless of what you see pop up on your screen tonight from CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all of those peeps, even TYT, even, Young Turks, like, again, you have to keep in mind that there are a lot of mail-in ballots that also still have to be counted. So me personally, I'm ready for this to be over. Like, I don't know about you guys, but this has been a crazy year. And in terms of like this election, again, I feel like there's been so much divisiveness on both sides, by the way. I'm honestly thinking about, once this is all done, changing my voter registration to independent. Because just from what I've seen from both parties, it's just a huge disappointment. I don't know when we started acting like this, like as a country, like calling people names. I've never seen a debate like what I saw during the presidential election, the very first debate between Biden and Trump. I thought that debate was absolutely horrible. And there were times where I just wanted to turn it off. because it didn't feel like a debate. It felt like two grandpas arguing over who got the last prune juice. Just keeping it real. The name calling, the interrupting, like, that's not presidential to me. I know a lot of you didn't really want to come out and participate in this election because you weren't happy with either candidate. And I understand that too. I know what it is like to have two choices and not want either one of them. And that is part of the problem with our political process, like in this country. We don't really have a strong third party that is represented on the ballot in every single state. And so in order for a third party to win, that has to happen, and enough people have to vote for them. And I think that we have just been conditioned in this country that we need to be Democrat or Republican. And there are other parties here, but they just don't get the recognition or the attention unless you go onto YouTube and you watch some of the political commentators that do focus on some of these other candidates, like Green Party and all that fun stuff, or Libertarian, whichever one of those. But I really feel that we need more than two parties in this country. I honestly, for me personally, the two-party system, it's not working anymore. Like, for me, it's like you have to be one side or the other. And to be honest with you, from what I've seen Democrat and Republican, both of them have flaws, and both of them have things that I don't agree with. Neither of those parties actually support the people. You know what I mean? Like, they're both establishment. The Democrat Party and the Republican Party, they're both about corporations. Democrat Party says they're for the people, but I haven't seen that in the last couple of years. I see a lot of money going to Wall Street and corporations on both sides, and I don't see how the people are actually being helped. Now, I told you guys in my early voting vlog that I voted for Bernie in the Democratic primaries, and that's who I wanted, as president. If that makes me a socialist or a commie or whatever you want to call me, then so be it. Who cares? I don't really care about what people think about my political views. They're my views, and I'm choosing to share them. But that being said, when I look back on what happened in the Democratic primaries, let's be real here. Bernie was on his way to win. He pretty much kind of came in with a tie in Iowa with Pete. He won New Hampshire. Then he went on to win Nevada. And Biden came in and won South Carolina, which I pretty much figured that was going to happen anyway, having lived in South Carolina. But if it wasn't for Pete and Amy and whoever else dropped out right before Super Tuesday, let's just remember that Bernie was on his way to make a sweep like Super Tuesday. Now, as someone who lives in Massachusetts, a lot of people here feel that like Elizabeth Warren stole this from Bernie. I don't really agree with that so much, because I feel like regardless, let's say she did drop out and she wasn't in the race, we don't know that those people who voted for Warren would have turned around and voted for Bernie. That's an assumption. That's a guess. That doesn't mean it would have happened. But I do think that Pete and Amy dropping out really helped Biden. And that's how Biden was able to win as big as he did on Super Tuesday. I think that if Pete and Amy would have stayed in that race, I think Biden would have not received all of those votes. Some of those votes would have went to Pete and Amy. I knew a lot of people that liked Pete. I knew people that liked Amy. So I know, this is why I'm telling you, like, that was all planned. And this is the thing, like, the way I saw the media, the way I saw the just Democrat establishments try to stop Bernie, like really trying to stop him. Let's get everybody together and get you guys to drop out so Biden can get more votes and he can go on as the Democrat nominee. Like, who does that? It's stuff like that. So to me, that was uncalled for. Bernie was on his way to make a sweep Super Tuesday. He still swept pretty much California. And I think, people don't realize that There were shows on TV that basically had brainwashed people into thinking that, like, oh, we can't have Bernie win because he wouldn't be able to beat Trump. We can't have him win because he wants to do stuff for the people. He's going to take away their health care. And this is what I'm trying to get you guys to realize. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if it's Democrat or Republican, because both parties are establishment. I think that is something we really need to come to terms with, and we really need to realize at the end of the day, neither one of them really trying to help the people. If they were really trying to help the people, why is it that as the wealthiest nation, in the world, why is it that everybody does not have health insurance in this country? Everybody has health insurance in Canada. Why is that? If they were really trying to help us, because they make so much money off of the pharmaceutical companies. So really they banking on us getting sick. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. At the end of the day, regardless who wins this election, how is that really going to help us, the people? What are we getting out of it? And I think we need to start asking ourselves these questions. Now, I know Ice Cube came up with a contract for Black America. I think that's a great idea. Here's my question. Why haven't either side, Democrat or Republican, why haven't they come up with something like that? You can come up with like plans and stuff for like the military. You can come up with plans and stuff for corporations. But when it comes to the people, why didn't either party come up with something like that? When we want to talk about the wealth gap in this country between white people and Black people and Native American people, where has this been all this time? So that is my little rant. But again, I don't know what's going to happen. But I will say, I just hope that everybody can be civil. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen either. But once it's done, you guys. So my advice is, whatever the results are of this election, please do not go out and act a fool, because that is not going to change the results of the election. We have to find a way to come together in this country. And to be honest with you, we need to start asking politicians, what are they going to do for us? Not just voting for someone because they're in our party. What have the parties done for us? That's it. I'm out, guys. This election thing is happening. So I don't know what the results are going to be, but I guess we'll all find out, huh? Peace.